Welcome to the Getting High on Leadership series featuring Paul Karasik. Paul is one of America's top management consultants helping leaders succeed. He is the author of 9 books, including Sweet Persuasion and Brilliant Thoughts and Provocative Questions. His insights appear regularly in major publications, and he is one of the most sought-after executive coaches. Paul founded the American Seminar Leaders Association and the Psychedelic Institute of Los Angeles. He is a popular speaker at national conferences and has been on stages across all 50 states and internationally. Paul's work addresses the question, how can we transform conflict in business into collaboration? With decades of experience in management, leadership, and psychedelics, he brings a unique perspective on personal and societal growth. In this series, we'll be discussing his latest book, Getting High on Leadership, The Leader's Guide to Higher Consciousness. We'll be exploring the concepts, techniques, and mindset required to revolutionize leadership. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this series. My name is Sanchez, your host, and we are joined by Paul Karasik, author of Getting High on Leadership. We're making our way through the book, one by one, hitting each chapter and talking about conscious leadership. Today's section is called Two Monks and the Lady in Distress, and it can be found on page 100 of the book. And as always, you could find a copy of the book for yourself using the link in the show notes below. Paul, welcome back. And where can we begin with this topic? Getting a little more narrative again, using a story to get this point across, but an excellent one, of course.
Yeah, this is kind of a continuation and an illustration of the idea of letting go, of not taking a position, and being flexible in that sense. And it's the setting for this particular story is about monks, and of course, monks live very restrictive lives, and they have a lot of rules that they go by. But the best rule is humanity, is that should be the guiding principle, and truth and love, if you will, as a guiding principle. And so this chapter is about letting go, about not taking a position, which we talked about, and being flexible. It's so easy in a leadership position to make judgments. This is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad. And this chapter is about beyond the good and bad, and just to look at it as life happening, as opposed to this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad. Because the truth is, we don't know what's good and bad at any given moment.
Right. It all might be good or bad.
It might be good or bad. There's an old Zen story that kind of illustrates this, where they go to an old man and they accuse him of something which he didn't do, and he go, "Oh, is that so?" And then he finds out that somebody took some action, and it created. He proved his innocence, and he said, "Oh, is that so?" And the story goes on, and whatever in the story, whatever is happening, the master just goes, "Is that so?" As if to say, it's not either good or bad. It's the way you interpret it.
Right. Yeah, I think Alan Watts tells that story too, with a man that says maybe to everything. So he has a good harvest, and the village is like, "Congratulations, this is great for you." And he said, "Maybe." And then the barn that he stored his harvest in burned down, and the village said, "Hey, this is terrible news for you. We're so sorry to hear that." And he said, "Maybe it's bad." And then, later an army comes through and takes food from anyone that has it, but he's left alone because of that. And someone says, "Wow, such good fortune." And he says, "Maybe." And it definitely echoes that same sentiment, right, of what you want to approach. You need to have those guidelines. Like, you need to have something that you're hanging on to and using to help shift your perspective and kind of help you plan your day-to-day. But knowing when to let go of that and take that day-to-day in stride, actually, and not just hang on, expecting it to be the way you wanted or the way you planned, I think is
Mm-hmm.
a very valuable skill for leaders of every stripe or experience level.
You mean the whole idea of letting go and
Yeah, and being able to like temporarily let go of what you thought was right or what you planned to be right and consider
mm-hmm.
the world in front of you, the situation at hand. There might be some
Mm-hmm.
new information, there might be
Mm-hmm.
new people involved or different priorities, and I think it can
Mm-hmm.
be a sign of maturity in leadership to see people come to that gap in what they expected and what they didn't expect and calmly
Mm-hmm.
cross it. Almost no hesitation, right? They just still walk right through it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and can be very difficult to do in the real world. As that ego, that little thing that we've talked about in a few different sessions,
Mm-hmm.
hangs on, right? And you want to be right. It wants to be right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and it's a crazy thing. Would you rather I remember I had a coach once and he said, would you rather be right or happy? You know,
Yep.
and I had to think about it, a little bit, and I got it what he was saying. And in this case, in this particular story, it's about rules and when to break rules and when to be flexible, and of the idea of not taking a position on it.
Yes.
That's really what
Yeah.
this is about, and just letting it be. And the ultimate position is not to judge it um, as bad or good, and that's really what we're getting at here. So in a nutshell, it's about seeing things as they are. There's just as much of a chance as it's going to be good as it is bad. The truth is, we don't know what's good, what's bad, um, until sometimes way after the fact. Oh, that was really good, but at the time it looked really bad. Um, and we don't know. And I mentioned this a few times during this particular series, and that's living in the I don't know. Um, is the most uncomfortable thing, but that's where everything happens, in the unknown. Otherwise, in the known, it's always the same thing that's been happening in the past is happening in the future. There's never anything new. So unknown allows us to awaken to new possibilities, and it's important to cultivate that. So when something happens, well, that was good, that was bad. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it was good or bad. It did happen. It seemed like it was good, or it seemed like it was bad. But putting in perspective, we really don't know. We really don't know. Obviously, things are bad. You don't hit a goal. Things fall apart. People quit the enterprise or the initiative. Uh, we could immediately jump into, oh, that's a negative thing, as opposed to, I don't know.
It may seem, the situation may seem to challenge your normal operating procedures, your normal
Mm-hmm.
outlook, or the vows that you've taken or you've
Mm-hmm.
sworn to yourself. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes sticking to those vows is not the way to lead. As we see in the story, there are occasions in life when you have to make
Mm-hmm.
that greater decision for humanity, as you mentioned at the beginning of the session here, instead of for your own values or for your ego. I
Exactly.
think that's an important distinction to call out too, and probably equally as difficult to do correctly and with the right timing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I would let it go at that. And that's really what this chapter's about. Not sticking to, this is the rule, this is how we do it, but allowing for flexibility, allowing for humanity, allowing for possibilities that we don't see uh, that are involved, and kind of going with it. I think I think we do a chapter on rules, so I won't go into that right now, but that's kind of what it's about, is that is making up rules about the way things are supposed to go, and we don't. When you look back on your life, so many of the great things happen seemingly accidentally. Chance encounters, how you and I met, how things happen.
Right.
You know, it's very random in a way.
It's not to belittle like planning in general, because having a plan and a way of action can help you through situations and help you know how to think, but you need to know when maybe to turn away from that. I think that's the balancing act of leadership here at play.
Mm-hmm. Like don't go by rules and then drain all the vital energy out of living. And that vital energy comes in the unknowns, in the unexpected, in the surprises, in the accidents, however you want to put it, that we have to be embracing on a continual basis. And then we get the best of both worlds.
Oh, wonderfully put there, Paul. Appreciate the insight on this episode. As always, folks watching and listening, you can grab a copy of the book in the show notes below, and feel free to post any comments or reach out to Paul or I with any questions or observations you've seen. Join us on the next section as we continue to discuss conscious leadership. Thank you. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Getting High on Leadership series. If you have any questions, you can comment below or send them in via email to paul@paulkarasik.com. Follow him on Instagram at PK_the conversation. Find out more at wholesalerinstitute.com and psychedelic-awakening.com. The Getting High on Leadership series is produced by Rob Sanchez and Apartment 113, which can be found at apartment113.com and followed on Instagram at APT_113.